When there's an injustice against you or someone you love or someone you believe in, stand up. Don't sit down on them, if they need you.
Welcome to Popcorn Planet's Pop Culture Justice, our live show here every day. And we're back on a Friday with an amazing panel. Oh my God, I'm just losing my mind. I need to make sense, so I brought in some amazing people to help me do that. Welcome back. It's Kim, Steph the Alternate, and so happy to have him back, attorney at law, Christopher Melcher. Welcome, panel. I got to say hi to Christopher. I see Steph and Kim all the time. But Christopher, welcome back. How are you doing, sir?
It's good to be here. I've been out, working like crazy. And so that's why I've been away from social media and your show. It's been pretty much 3 weeks. I don't think I've had a day off. So it's,
that's good. Sometimes you're here so much. I'm like, does he work, guys? No, he does. And he did it a lot. I'm happy you made some time for us. We're always grateful. And we have some important stuff for you, Christopher. And Kim, back to you. Welcome to the show, Kim. This is, we're going Britney first. And I saw this news, you sent it on over, and I was getting troubled. Are you worried about hearing this news, Kim? Are you excited to hear Christopher's take on it?
I'm excited to hear Christopher's take. I always appreciate the voice of legal reason on this panel. I am not overly scared. I think it's kind of one of those things. We have some information. We don't have all the information. And as we get into it, as it says, settlement talks are underway. That does not mean that anything is going to happen 100% one way or the other. I have been involved in a lawsuit where I did choose to settle. But even in the settlement hearing, it was not set in stone that we were settling that day. Right? Until it's said and done, nothing has been agreed on yet.
It's a good. You're reminding me. I did it too. I had to settle too. Sometimes the settlement isn't that bad, but we'll get to that. Steph, always happy to have Steph the Alternate here. And Steph, are you excited to hear Christopher's take on? His lawyer said what? Johnny Depp's Ben Chu said what? What do you think of this, and how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. In terms of what I think to this, I got a funny feeling that the documentary is it's taken out of context. I got a funny feeling that's happened. We all know what happened to Mr. Melcher and how 60 Minutes treated him and took what he said out of context in terms of editing and whatnot. So I'll reserve full judgment until I actually see the full documentary when it comes out on Discovery Plus. However, on the face of it, I'd be like, what the hell? You're on my side, but you're saying that the other side came across as credible. Like, dude, that's an own goal. Let's not be saying that, especially in the midst of, there's an appeal. Hello.
Yeah.
Shut the hell up, right?
It's weird.
Ain't a good look. So, yeah.
And well, I'm excited to hear Christopher's take on, is this a good look is that good for the client? But let's start. Those are our two main topics today. Thanks everybody for being here. You can send your comments in the pin, use the pin link to Linktree and get the stream elements or the PayPal or the Cash App. Will support our channel, and we'll read your comments as we get to them. I will read all the comments before I go. But Christopher, all right, let's break into this. So our first topic is a surprising one to me. There's been a lot of Britney news here and there, but now TMZ is reporting settlement talks are underway. Britney, Jamie, and TriStar. This is Team Con, folks. Lou Taylor, all of them, it seems, they're all open to ending this financial dispute. Lawyers are in talks to end the contentious legal battle. Sources with direct knowledge have told on both sides have told TMZ. Sources tell TMZ that Britney's attorney, Rosengart, has reached out to both Jamie's lawyers and TriStar's lawyers to settle up. As you know, Rosengart has accused them of misappropriating massive amounts of money, an allegation they have denied. Our sources say a few months after the conservatorship ended in November, lawyers for Jamie and TriStar approached Rosengart to settle their differences, but Britney's lawyer was having none of it and was going full steam ahead. We're told he's now had a change of heart roughly a month ago and offered to end the legal fight for a price around $7 million. That's it? Bullshit. Sources tell us lawyers for TriStar and Jamie wanted to know how he reached that figure, but they say Rosengart didn't offer specifics, so there was an impasse. They're open. The sides say both sides are open to settling, and a source with direct knowledge tells TMZ that Rosengart contacted TriStar to forge ahead with a possible settlement. This is not to say everyone's on the same page. Sources say TriStar and Jamie TriStar sources say Rosengart is scrambling to settle the case. A source with direct knowledge in Britney's camp, however, says to TMZ Rosengart is not scrambling at all. and general talks are simply standard operating procedure in any legal dispute. The question obviously is going to be how much will Jamie and or TriStar be willing to pay, and how much will Britney be willing to accept to put an end to this legal war. Now, Christopher, when I see this, it makes me nervous because I'm like, I know a lot of Britney fans. I want Team Con to pay for the atrocities that they did to her. I don't really think it's about money. I don't even think Britney, I would think, doesn't care about the money. She said they want these people in jail, her own family members in jail for what they did to them. Is this a sign that this is not going to happen, that this may all just go away? What do you think when you see this?
Well, it is standard to try to settle a case. That's what people should do. I mean, going through a lawsuit is very unpleasant and uncertain experience. So it's nice to talk about justice, but I've been a lawyer for a long time, and justice is really more about going through this process and getting a result. It's not necessarily winning. And, there's no guarantee that she'll win this case any more than anyone's guaranteed of winning any case. So the only thing that's for sure is that it's going to cost a ton of money for her, because she's paying, I'm sure, Greenberg Traurig and experts and other lawyers. They're not doing it for free. So for sure, she's going to spend a ton of money. And it's a lot of litigation, and she's going to be aggravated by having to deal with this. It's kind of re-traumatizing her in a way to have to relive this stuff. It might, in a way, feel good at times for her to, exert this pressure on the other side, but also she has to live through it. Eventually, she'll have to testify. It's a lot. So there's a lot of benefit to her to settle. Now, the number, I don't know who comes up with $7 million. I sincerely doubt that Rosengart would have came out the gate and offered $7 million. There is a bond of $47 million on Jamie Spears. That's like an insurance company that's backing this up, saying if it's established that Jamie Spears breaches fiduciary duty as a conservator, they will pay up to $47 million. So that's guaranteed money right there if it can be shown that he committed fraud or abuse and resulted in that level of damages. Also, the lawyers that are involved that were representing the conservatorship have exposure, and they also have large insurance policies. And then you've got TriStar also, I'm sure, has a insurance policy and deep pockets. So there's $7 million would be something I'm sure the other side would come together and pay that in a moment. So I would hope that Britney's number would be much higher, but if she could settle, whatever she, and again, it's like, I think people, it's very odd. Okay. During the conservatorship, everyone was like, free Britney. She does not need a conservator. She is an adult. She can make her own decisions, good or bad. And here she is free of the conservatorship, and everyone's like, what? Is she not making this decision? Is she not in control? Does she not have the right to make a settlement? Is she going to be tricked by Rosengart? So it's like, which is it? Is it she's fully capable of making decisions? And if so, then it's like, there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are just not going to accept it when they see this headline. It's like, well, wait a second. Does that mean they are? Because a lot of people are saying she's still not, she's still under the control of the con. They're still in there. Are they trying to make this finagle this to make it happen? And I can see that side. It just makes me wonder, like, is someone at TriStar just trying to, get her to move on, which she has a right to do. But, I guess that's my issue, because lawyers are expensive. They're probably the only ones really getting anything out of this. That's what happens most times, right, Christopher? So I get that argument, and I get the moving on from a trauma perspective. But I guess, could they still pursue a criminal action or something maybe? Like, is there still something that they could still do beyond maybe, all right, fine, let's settle this finance thing. It is what it is. But does that close the door potentially to other things? Or I guess you could ask for things in a settlement too that maybe Britney wants them to admit.
Yeah, we rarely see in a settlement an admission of fault. It's usually, just a payment, and sometimes with non-disparagement or non-disclosure provisions in it. Those aren't necessary, but sometimes we see that. She is not in control of criminal charges. It's only a prosecutor, federal or state, could file that. So, where is the prosecution? We haven't heard a peep from any prosecutor of any interest in this. We haven't seen search warrants. There's no indication that any prosecutors is, ready to file any charges. But a settlement, if it occurred, would certainly not prevent a prosecution. So they're completely different tracks.
Interesting. Kim, do you have any questions for Christopher on this topic specifically? Because I know you're our biggest Britney fan.
I mean, I think Christopher answered a lot of it. Does this surprise you that you're seeing this at all?
Well, no, I mean, I think Rosengart has done a good job in putting maximum pressure on all these bad actors here that are involved with the conservatorship. They are hemorrhaging money, or at least their insurance companies are hemorrhaging money and paying. I mean, look at the legions of lawyers. There's really almost daily litigation activity. This is, I'm sure, costs, millions of dollars on each side so far, and they haven't really even accomplished much of anything. I mean, it's going to go, if they don't settle, it'll go on for a long time, and they have huge exposure. So I think that it's a good time to settle. So it doesn't surprise me. I like the $7 million number. I don't get that, and it's unverified. At least I haven't seen any paperwork that would show that Rosengart or Britney offered $7 million.
Mm-hmm.
Does this? I mean, do you think 7 million is the right number? Like, what is the negotiation there to actually get? Because I imagine it's a lot more. I think Look, I mean, there's a lot of posturing, and the first offer is usually going to be your home run. So I would think that if I were involved here, which I'm not, I would say, well, let's start with the bond. I want $47 million from the bond, and I want, policy limits on the malpractice insurance policies for these 3 law firms, that were involved. And then I want to see what the maximum insurance is on TriStar. So I think that would be my starting position. And so right there, we're probably at $60-70 million just in insurance money that's available. And hey, and then TriStar and et cetera is going to try and lowball it and say, hey, there should be, whatever in the low $1 million or whatever that they would contribute. And then you got that kind of bracketed, go into a mediation and try and settle it. But I would be surprised if she settled for under $10 million. I just, that just anything less than that wouldn't seem adequate. But again, her life, her decisions, her choices. Is there a version does TriStar accepting that show a little bit more guilt, or do you think it's the same thing of them trying to, you know what I mean? Like, can fans take that as a win of like, well, look, they did pay her several $1 million to end this instead of defending their, integrity?
So I think it's going to be insurance that are mostly cutting the checks. And so there's a group of defendants that probably all have insurance, including this big bond. And so it would be Britney versus that group of probably insurance adjusters and coming up with a number. And on their side, on the insurance side, they're looking at cost of defense. I mean, even if they won against all these claims that Britney can make, they're going to spend millions and millions of dollars just to get the result. And so they're just on cost of defense. Like I say, I could see $10 million just being like, they're going to be out $10 million just to defend against the claims that Britney, and this is another thing, I don't understand why she hasn't sued them yet, but eventually if she gets around to suing them, they're going to spend $10 million even defending it. And so why not just kick in the $10 million to get it over with? So I don't know it's not an admission of fault. It's just an economic issue that they would just rather pay the money that they're going to pay Britney the money that they would pay the lawyers to get it over with.
Well, opening the panel, Steph, Kim, everybody, like, does this give us confidence that Britney maybe is moving on? That she, I mean, I do believe she's free. I do. But, you know, or could there be some sort of still insider from TriStar or Team Con just trying to swat this away and potentially get away with it? Steph, I'll go to you first. Do you feel confident this is a good move and that we're getting Britney's true intent and what she wants?
Whatever Britney decides, she'll have my support, because at the end of the day, it's whatever she thinks is going to be best for her. However, with that being said, her turning round and being very, very forceful in the notion that she believes that her father should be in prison and that other members of Team Con should be in prison is antithetic. It's completely opposite to doing a settlement, because I could only safely assume that if she did a settlement, part of that would be, oh, and by the way, Britney, you can't come for us legally. Like, you drop absolutely everything and we move on, part ways, never ever to meet, forever and ever, amen. So talks of a settlement doesn't make sense when Britney has emphatically said that she believes that her father and many others from Team Con should be in jail and that she wants them in jail. The settlement will put a kibosh to all of that if she does that. So we'll see. Could this just be PR move on Team Con side to try and again control the narrative within the media? Completely possible, and that's what I believe. But we'll see.
Kim, thoughts?
Similar to Steph. I mean, lawsuits are very difficult, and it does seem like, based on what Britney has been sharing with us, even the past week, she's told us that she's in therapy weekly, that she's doing therapy with horses, that she is trying to move on. She's trying to focus on her health. She posted a really lovely message to her sons, just saying, you know, I love you. I mean, she may really be trying to just close this door and walk forward. Now, at the same time, though, I do agree with Steph. She has been very loud that she wants her justice. But if that justice is going to be at the expense of her health, I understand the decision making. And as Steph said, you know, echoing, we fought for her to make the decisions in her own life. We fought for her to be able to make her own choices. And if this is her choice, I support it completely.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we have to, but I'm not, it's just not helping the conspiracies and people out there who are saying she's still not free to suddenly, after all, like you said, all that she's been out there, as loud as she's been to go after her family, to suddenly just settle up like this, which feels kind of quick. And like you said, Christopher, never sued. It does make me nervous. I don't think it's going to help her from a standpoint. Then again, I'll say it. I don't think all the other Instagram stuff is helping either. There's a lot of people who just think she's still irrational based on what she posts, when I think she's just, you know, coming to grips with reality after all the trauma she's been through. And so it's like the whole thing's a mess. So I can understand why there's a part that's like, I just want to move on. I want to move on with my life and fix the things with my kids, whatever it is, right? I can understand that, and I send her all the blessing, do it. But I don't know. To think that TriStar is going to be able to keep going on when I in my heart of hearts believe, my belief, they did a lot of wrongdoing. There's a lot of emails and things coming out that really paint them in a negative light. What is there any vengeance for TriStar, Christopher, for us fans who were like, well, this is Britney's choice. We wanted that, but we don't get it. Do you think there's any way TriStar could still see, justice against what they've done?
Well, I would hope so. I mean, I think that on the point about, you know, Britney's post is that, I mean, whenever you're in a lawsuit, you got to be careful what you say, because it's going to come back to you in court. So, and this would go on for years. I mean, like I say, she hasn't even sued anybody yet. The only litigation is against her to settle these or resolve these claims for fees that are made against her in the conservatorship action. She hasn't even initiated anything against anybody else. So if she to do that, she would be under scrutiny for years, constantly, with Rosengart probably advising her to, stay off social media or be careful about what you say because it's going to show up in court. And it's really no way to live. And so settlement would be nice. Somebody could file criminal charge. A prosecutor could file criminal charges. Again, we haven't seen any evidence that that's even being considered. The bad press against TriStar is not going away. This is highly publicized what their role is. We've now seen the emails discrediting what their story was before, that they weren't involved in the undertaking of the conservatorship. They were absolutely involved. And so that damage is done. And like I say, now it's just up to her to get a deal if one's to be had. And like I say, 7 million, I don't get that. So I'd love to see something in writing on that. But if it were, over $10 million, that is a lot of money. And, so no one's going to pay that without acknowledging, at least tacitly, that they have massive exposure.
Well, there you go. Again, it's TMZ. Who knows what's really going on here? But it does seem like, I don't know. It seems like there's definitely talks at least undergoing. That is regular. But I want to make sure we address this in case it happens, because I know a lot of fans are going to be upset. But I think we said it well. It's not our choice, guys. It's not really up to us. It's up to Britney's. And if she wants to move on from this, then we gotta take that for what it is. Any other comments from you, Kim or Steph, before I move on to the Johnny quote?
Okay.
Hashtag justice for Britney.
Yeah.
Whichever form that takes of her own choosing.
Well said. Second story of the day while we have our legal expert here. Ben Chew is in the new docuseries. Is this one on Discovery Plus? Is that where this one is?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I don't know why he's still out there doing these interviews. It just seems, I don't know. It just feels weird. Because I don't believe Johnny's asking him to, is why this bothers me, guys. I just don't buy it. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. But in a new documentary on Discovery Plus, Johnny's lawyer, Ben Chew, admits Amber Heard came across as credible in her deposition. The new docuseries includes intimate access to Depp's lawyers, legal experts, and journalists, with the first of the 2 episodes investigating Depp's side of the story. While discussing the work Depp's legal team was doing behind the scenes as the trial played out, lawyer Chew can be seen saying, halfway through the case, we were worried about Amber because during the deposition, there were moments when she came across credible. He adds, we felt that somebody needed to explain to the jury why someone as presentable as Amber would make up these horrific stories of abuse. But obviously people have jumped on this quote because the media's pro-Amber for some reason, and trying to prove that even Johnny's lawyer is now, see, Amber was telling that was credible. I can understand what's being said here in the context of in the closed door legal room, but I'm kind of shocked it was revealed in public, Christopher, because it does feel like it's a knock on his client, Johnny Depp. And why would you want to put out there that at any point throughout it, you found her credible? Because doesn't that give her and her team ammunition, especially as an appeal is going? What is your reaction when you see this?
Yeah, I mean, hey, who knows what he actually said, but it's in quotation marks. So it does, they're fronting it or representing it as actual quote that this lawyer said. I'm bothered by the interview because, a lawyer has ongoing obligations to a client, even when the representation is concluded. We have this concept called work product, which are the thoughts, impressions, and conclusions of a lawyer. Those are protected. Obviously, communications with the client are protected. Those aren't implicated here, but the thoughts and impressions of the lawyer are being revealed in this quote. And, did the client approve that? And we also have some duties to the client not to put them in a false light and not to reveal information that would embarrass them. So, why is he giving this interview? Did Johnny approve it? Why would Johnny approve it if he was asked? So I question some of this. I mean, the general rule is you don't talk about your cases, unless you have explicit approval from the client, and the client usually only approves you to do that when there's a need for it. And that would be maybe like pre-litigation or pre-trial. You want your lawyer perhaps going out there and giving your side of the story. Here, his story, Johnny's story has been told. He's won. He wants to move on. It's a very nasty chapter in his life. Why would he authorize his lawyer to talk? So I have questions about that. And then certainly if the lawyer is going to talk, don't say something that benefits the other side. And, hey, I mean, I could understand if he's saying, hey, I had a concern that a juror might believe her. Well, sure, that's a concern every lawyer has about the other side.
But that's not what he's saying here, if this is an accurate quote.
Yeah, I mean, we I watched the snippets of the video depo. I found her to be confrontational. Her demeanor was much worse at the deposition than it was at times during the trial. They cleaned her up for the trial. The deposition was raw amber. She was kind of smug, angry. I mean, we saw the clips. It didn't come across as somebody who I thought was credible, believable. But again, I mean, so I it's odd, definitely odd.
Yeah, it's just like you said, because that's what I said. I just don't believe Johnny was having Ben Chu go out there and like, yeah, go say that she looked credible at times. Because that could absolutely be a quote that's going to be misused by her and her team to say, see, look, even now it's out, and they're jumping on it. Even Depp's own lawyer is admitting she came across credible. Like, now you can take that quote and use it when it's like, what are you're supposed to be representing him. It's weird. And it's like, to do a bunch of story. I mean, I understand doing a couple interviews after the case, whatever, but if you were handling a big case like this, wouldn't it look odd for you to, unless the client's telling you specifically, to really continue doing a press tour all these months later about the case?
Yeah, it's like I say, pretty much unheard of. That, and again, it really depends on the dynamic of the case. Had he lost, then sure, you'd probably want your lawyer continuing talking about the case and saying, hey, this is what happened in that trial and why we think we were right. But when you win, you shut up. That's just my thought.
And to be fair, we don't know when this was taped. This could have been done right after the trial, I guess, when he was doing the tour. To be fair, we should have. I see some people comment, and it's a fair point. We should wait to see when this was actually made. But we don't, because obviously it wasn't shot now. They've been in editing, but it could have been at any point between a month ago and before, I would imagine. But either way, no matter when he took this quote, guys, it's a weird quote to give to the press and a documentary about your client, to admit that the person who's lying on him, that you're supposed to be believing your client, she did seem credible. I can't, it's hard to swallow. Steph, do you agree? Is this kind of an absurd thing to say? I mean, I didn't play the intro, but there it is. They said what?
Yeah, it is one of those. Again, I'll reserve full judgment until I watch the documentary. I fear that he may have been edited out of context, or it's twisted somehow for their own editorial kind of bias or purpose or whatever they've got going on at Discovery Plus. But on the face of it, from what we know so far, yeah, what the hell, dude? Like, you're Johnny Depp's lawyer. You shouldn't be, like, even in the realm of giving an own goal to the other side, especially when there's an upcoming appeal going on where literally like millions and millions of dollars are on the freaking line, and lives are on the line in that regard, with his career, her career, if you even want to call it that these days, so yeah, it's just odd and strange. And yeah, what the hell?
Kim, do you agree? What the hell? Your thoughts?
I think the most important part of that quote that I think people are forgetting is he's saying there were moments. And I personally believe that, how do I word this? I've heard people say that the best lies are the ones that have some truth in them. So there probably were points that she may have come across as being convincing to some people because there were elements. Maybe when she was talking about her daughter, maybe when she was talking about her family. I don't know. But I don't think that that specifically means anything. And it's hard to tell when you don't have the context. I feel like this is kind of, we found something and we're going to make a huge deal out of it. And maybe it's not that big of a deal. So.
Fair enough. Voices of reason. There it is. Either way, I still think probably be careful putting any.
Yeah, they shouldn't have said it. They shouldn't have said it. But like
about your client, it's just a bad look. It's just, or just don't do so many interviews about your. I mean, it's. I don't know. Don't do so about. It's like. If he wants to do press, then go talk about other cases. Don't talk about the case you're doing. It seems like you're, really bad business to be out there. Like, I don't know. You're just going to put your foot in your mouth. Why? Just like you won't want your clients to speak, Christopher, right? Same thing. Why would the lawyers risk it too? It's a very odd look and going to give Amber ammo. So, frustrating indeed. There you go. What an amazing show. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry it's a little shorter than usual. I will try to be less late and just commit to the topics like Steph and Kim are always trying to tell me to do. But this was a doozy. If you missed it, you're going to hear a lot more information about our trip. Bridget Fonda. Why are people being mean? I love Bridget. Plus, we dunked on John Campion so much. You're going to want to watch the full members only replay. To do that, if you missed it live and this was trimmed, click that join button, pick a tier, and then become a member. You'll be able to watch all the replays. You'll support the channel, and you'll be helping us out. You'll also should check out Steph, the Alter Nerd, It's Kim, and support their channels as well. Also, Nerd Report, my favorite. I hope he's going live. Is he? Go check out Nerd Report. If it's there, I'm going to put you there. If it's not, oh well, he's not live. Oh yeah, he is live. There we go.
Yay!
You're gonna go over there right now. I made it happen just in time as I'm about to hit the button. Go check out Nerd Report. Otherwise, check on these if we're not live. Enjoy your day, everybody. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you next week here on Popcorn Planet.